Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling something you see everywhere online, LED teeth whitening kits.
Yeah, they're definitely popular.
The big question is this like a real scientific step forward, or is it mostly just smart marketing with a shiny blue light? We dug into the research.
And the answer, well, it's a bit of both, really. It's definitely got some solid science, but there's a hefty dose of marketing hype mixed in. We can tell you that right off the bat.
Okay, good. Let's break that down.
Right.
Because the studies seem pretty clear that the actual whitening power comes from the chemistry, right?
Yeah.
Not so much the fancy light tech.
That's exactly right. The established science, the part that definitely works is the peroxide, usually hydrogen peroxide or carbamide peroxide.
Yeah.
That's the agent doing the real work here.
Okay, so remind us how that works. What's it doing inside the tooth?
Right. So peroxide is a small molecule. It can actually seep through the tiny pores in your enamel, the hard outer layer,
Sure.
and get into the dentin underneath. That's where a lot of the discoloration sits. Then it oxidizes. It basically breaks down the large, complex molecules that cause the staining chemists, call them chromogens, into smaller, simpler bits that don't have color.
So oxidation equals lighter teeth. Simple enough.
That's the core chemical process, yes. That's what truly whitens.
Does it work on all stains, though? Like deep set stuff?
Ah, good question. It's very effective on what we call extrinsic stains. You know, coffee, tea, red wine, general yellowing as we age.
Right, the surface stuff.
Mostly, yeah. But the research confirms it's, well, generally not great for deep intrinsic stains. Think staining from certain antibiotics like tetracycline taken during childhood. Those are much tougher.
Got it. Okay, now for the light. The blue LED. This is where things get interesting, isn't it? The manufacturers claim it activates the peroxide, makes it work faster, better. Does the science actually back that up?
Well, if you look at the highest level of evidence, we're talking systematic reviews, meta-analyses, pooling lots of studies.
The gold standard.
Exactly. They consistently find basically no significant, lasting, added whitening benefit from the light when used with the high concentration gels common in these kits or in-office treatments.
No added benefit. But hang on, people swear they see a difference immediately after using the light. It looks way whiter right away. What's happening there?
Okay, yeah, that's the really interesting part. It's likely the dehydration hypothesis.
Dehydration of the tooth.
Precisely. The light, especially the kind used in dental offices, but even some home kits, can generate a little heat, enough to temporarily dry out the very surface of the enamel.
And dry enamel looks whiter.
Yes, it scatters light differently. It creates this sort of temporary false white look. It gives you the illusion of instant dramatic results.
Wow.
But it's transient. As your tooth rehydrates from saliva over the next few hours, maybe a day,
The effect fades.
that initial boost largely disappears. Yes, it wasn't really enhanced chemical bleaching.
So a temporary illusion.
Uh-huh.
But does the light do anything else? Anything confirmed?
Unfortunately, yes. There's one effect the research consistently shows, and it's not a good one.
Which is?
Increased tooth sensitivity. Significantly increased. One major analysis found using the light made sensitivity something like 3.5 times more likely.
Whoa. Over 3 times the risk of zingers and pain just for a light that doesn't really add to the long-term whitening.
That's what the evidence points to. It seems like a pretty poor trade-off.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, so sensitivity is one risk. What about other safety issues with these home kits?
The biggest issue, honestly, besides the sensitivity potentially linked to the light, is the delivery system. The trays.
The plastic things you put the gel in?
Exactly. Over-the-counter kits use these one-size-fits-all generic trays. They just don't fit snugly against your teeth like a custom one from a dentist would.
And that means?
Gel leakage. Lots of it. That peroxide gel, especially if it's fairly concentrated, gets onto your gums.
Ouch! Chemical burn.
Yeah, it can cause quite painful gum irritation, burns, blanching. That's probably the most common complaint besides sensitivity. The fit of the tray is key for safety.
And that lack of a good fit, the lack of professional oversight, that ties into regulation, doesn't it? How these things are controlled or not controlled.
It absolutely does, and it varies hugely. In the U.S., for example, these kits are often classified just as cosmetics. Regulation can be quite lenient.
Just cosmetics, even with active peroxide.
Often, yes. But compare that to, say, the EU or the UK, they have much stricter rules. It's illegal there to sell whitening products directly to consumers if they contain more than 0.1% hydrogen peroxide.
0.1%. That's tiny compared to what's in many U.S. kits.
It is. They classify anything stronger as needing professional dental supervision because they recognize the risks of chemical injury and potential overuse without guidance.
Okay, so let's pull this all together. What's the final takeaway for someone thinking about buying one of these LED kits?
I think the verdict is pretty clear. You're essentially buying an effective whitening gel. The peroxide does work, but it's bundled with an accessory, the light, that's largely superfluous for actual whitening and likely increases your risk of sensitivity.
So the light is mostly marketing sizzle, adding risk without much reward.
Seems that way. The focus really should be on the quality and concentration of the gel, and this is critical, the fit of the tray to apply it safely and keep it off your gums.
It's fascinating, isn't it? The light feels so high-tech, so advanced.
Right.
But if it's ineffective for whitening, maybe increases pain, and the real safety issue comes down to gel leakage from a bad tray, then the most important piece of equipment is actually the low-tech, custom-fitted tray.
That simple piece of plastic properly molded to your teeth, yes, that's the key difference maker for safety and keeping the gel where it needs to be.
It just makes you wonder why we're so drawn to the gadget, the blinking light, when maybe the simple, boring fit is what truly matters most for getting the results safely. Something for you to think about.